Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Zenless Zone Zero reaction. Today we have another Isolde song, this time the Defector boss theme. Voltorian Games said I should get to this one, and apparently this is the third song for the same character, all boss themes. This character seems to not like you as a player, huh? Like, to show up 3 times is kind of nuts, but I guess I'm gonna hear what this song sounds like. Maybe it's gonna have some motif work that's similar to the other two, but maybe it's its own thing. I won't know if I don't listen, so without further ado, let's go! Well, that's a different vibe. That's a completely different feeling. It's a lot more dark atmosphere immediately. It's almost depressing. Like, the chord structure here is very downtrodden, weak, sad, you name it. A sense of regret, which I suppose would make sense if you've failed twice already. Or maybe this is the second time. I don't know the order. I don't know which one's which, like, phase. This one's way more moody, though. 100%. I'm not getting the anger like I got in the last one. Ooh, unless we're building into something. Ooh. Nice sound design there. Oh. That texture synth. Oh, that's like that fluttering, the... Oh, that's so cool. What a neat thing to toss in there. Really grabs onto that high end. But it's supporting the low end. Really cool use. See, you can hear that chord progression. I'll save that for later. I don't want to yap that much right now. Really love that in the sound design. That's so cool. And it's so much more labored. It feels like it's harder for the song to keep going. But that's still really hard. I can't tell if this would be fight number 2 or fight number 3. I could definitely see this being after failing twice, and this is kind of the emotional reflection of that, the disappointment in themselves. But I could also see it being like the second one, yeah, before the third, where she gets mad, and that's where we get that theme and the motif that wraps back around. Getting a little bit of plot here in the video. Damn. Sheesh. coin gun. Okay, so definitely the third phase, gotta be. So this is like the last attempt. Sheesh, okay, so that answered that question for me then. Whew, all right. A very emotional song, but I definitely have things I want to discuss on the technical level here. All right, so why does this song have me so excited while it is clearly a very emotional song? So E flat minor, that's basically all you need to know. It is one of the most somber contemplative keys in existence. It is one of my personal favorites. I've talked about it I don't know how many times on this channel at this point. It's a beautiful key. It just has a little bit of everything, but mostly focuses on the depresso espresso. So you get this nice climb here. That's all it is. And for those who might have better ears than others, you might recognize how many of those notes are the black keys. Basically all of them except for these two, which is an F and a B natural. Those are just there. The thing that really gets me with this one is that it's so reliant on the dominant note. And the dominant for this key is B flat. And that's usually more of like a dominant key thing, a dominant chord in a key, right? Would be that chord. But for this one, they rely on just laying on that B flat, especially for those emotional pressure moments near the end where it just lingers. And the reason that that is so important for this is because it's the dominant. It is the most, obviously by name, dominant note in this chord. It is the one that like kind of hinges everything else. And a lot of this song utilizes both, of course, the E flat and also the B flat. A lot of it is on that. And since by nature the E flat and the B flat are perfect fifths, that's usually that interval that the dominant lands on, it is just a thing that feels really nice when you put it into work. But one thing I really liked about this song was the constant stepping decline. Like, it basically had that looping, and of course you can put that into just borrowing the spaces between, and that's basically all. You know, like if you can imagine a keyboard in your mind, you have those three black keys in the center. That's those three black keys right there. And then the two white keys immediately on the bottom and immediately above that. That entire relationship there, that pentatonic 5, is where most of this song's light shines. And you can do so much by just playing those. There's so much you can do with this. Obviously, you can, of course, introduce those other ones, but they extend it away from these ones because that relationship there is the A flat and the D flat, which is a perfect fifth. And a perfect fifth tends to be a little bit too bright at certain intervals. Now, you might remember me saying that the main crux of this song, the B flat and the E flat, are also a perfect fifth, and that is true, but like I said, in certain intervals. So you get this A flat and D flat. It already sounds too bright. You can just hear that relationship between the two. But the B flat and the E flat, way more dark. It's just the relationship of where notes land in the ear, and this is one that sounds so mysterious compared to a more traditional one that sounds a little bit brighter, a little bit more uplifting. There's still a sadness in there if you look for it, but it's nowhere near as prevalent as this relationship. And then of course you add a note in the middle, and you get that really nice crunchy sound in there. And I believe if you do that, you get the E flat and then the F in the middle and the B flat. That I think is a sus2. So it by nature is one of those types of chords, sus chords being something that suspend the note a little bit. They add something to the chord that doesn't necessarily sound like it belongs there, and a tension to the chord that was already there. So you get that relationship that sounds a little bit more bright, but then you add that to it and you can feel that emotional drop in there. It's completely different. Separate, you can almost find a little bit of hope, but together, I don't know if it's there anymore. It's such an interesting thing. Music theory is so fucking cool. But yeah, like if you ever want to mess around with that key, I highly recommend it. If you're even thinking about playing piano, the E flat minor, oh, such a fun key to mess around with and fairly welcoming. Since it's basically all black keys, you can kind of do whatever you want in this area and get out some really nice sounds just by playing around. Even though not all of them will work, that's just the nature of music. You have to play around a little bit if you don't know exactly what you're doing. But largely, if you stay on the black keys, you can find basically anything that will work, since this effectively uses all of them. And all of that was just the music theory stuff I wanted to talk about, because in general, the sound design of this one is also beautiful too. Lots of reverb, lots of sounds that are evoking that sense of a rainy day, and obviously there was a little bit of that in the video, so that was probably helping my opinion on that side. But things like reverb do that as well, as some static added in there, the electronic stuff, that low rumbling bass, that grit that the electronic elements had, it all pulls the energy down and makes it feel like it has more emotional weight to it. So you marry that with something like E flat minor and you get a beautiful marriage into what this song was, which is just so emotionally powerful, obviously loaded with it from what we saw in the video, and I'm sure what all of you have probably experienced by playing that sequence. It's just a powerhouse of emotion, and I'm so glad they chose that specific chord and that specific key, because it is one of my favorites for that specific reason. It is just an amazing, amazing key to play with. But I have been yapping for quite a while, so I'll let you all go now. If you have something else you want to request from Zenless Zone Zero, by all means, leave in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!